I can't understand how people got the idea that Tears of the Kingdom is just another Breath of the Wild.
They're the same picture.
In Breath of the Wild, we awake after a disaster has ravaged Hyrule and find ourselves on an elevated tutorial area where we meet a spiritual mentor figure that teaches us 4 abilities to conquer the physics around us, only for him to eventually dissolve into blue glowy stuff, after which we descend on the disaster-struck land of Hyrule where we meet old people that give us gadgets, find little tree people that give us poop, solve shrine puzzles, unlock towers to complete our map, have to visit particular spots in the world to figure out what happened in the past, talk to a tree to get a sword, unite the 4 races of Hyrule by overcoming various environmental hazards, and break around 1278 swords in the process, until we finally defeat some Ganon thing. In Tears of the Kingdom, we have a 5-minute cutscene, after which a disaster ravages Hyrule and we find ourselves on an elevated tutorial area where we meet a spiritual mentor figure that teaches us 4 abilities to conquer the physics around us, only for him to eventually dissolve into turquoise sparkly stuff, after which we descend on the disaster-struck land of Hyrule where we meet a couple of old people that give us gadgets, find little tree people that give us poop, solve shrine puzzles, unlock towers to complete our map, have to visit particular spots in the world to figure out what happened in the past, talk to a tree to get a sword, unite the 4 races of Hyrule by overcoming various environmental hazards, and break around 1278 swords, 51 airplanes, and 22 land posts in the process, until you finally defeat some Ganon guy. See? Completely different. Oh yeah, and this time it's also Minecraft.
It's on a Raptor!
First of all, how dare you, 2023? Here I am trying to create a new YouTube channel by making cute little gaming reviews that take me way too long to create, by the way, and you decide now would be the right time to throw the longest games ever at my doorstep. And this is just the beginning. August, help me, God. I definitely pondered the question whether or not I needed to beat Tears of the Kingdom to make this video. The answer is no, by the way, but it just wouldn't have felt right, you know? Journalistic integrity and whatnot.
I can't lie!
And so here we are, slightly behind schedule, but all pumped because I finally beat Tears of the Kingdom and I've got opinions. Thank you so much to everyone who responded to my last Zelda video, where I asked the ancient question how I should be playing Zelda to actually have fun. Because Breath of the Wild really gave me a hard time to stay motivated. To melt it down, the consensus was,
just do it!
And do it I did indeed. And yes, what Nintendo created here is a marvelous entry in this franchise and a baffling sequel to an already pretty good game. But still, Nintendo took it one step, nay, one dimension further, and proved once again that they just operate on a different tier of the kingdom. I'm so sorry. Let me break it down for you. A 3, a 2, a 1. The fighting mechanics in Tears of the Kingdom have remained pretty much untouched compared to Breath of the Wild. Still, the experience is highly elevated by the additional tools put at your disposal. Ascending through and on top of giant enemies' backs, rewinding hurled rocks into their faces, shooting bombs or target-seeking arrows, or using your army of blue people to advantage. The ways to solve any given combat scenario all of a sudden are plentiful and are only limited by your own creativity. Creativity being the big word here because, well, more on that later. If you thought exploration was great in Breath of the Wild,
Think again, dirtbag!
compared to Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild's exploration was garbage for garbage people. Oh look, there's a thing in the distance and if I keep walking I can go there and climb on top of it.
Idiot!
Here's Tears of the Kingdom, and if there's a thing in the distance and you want to go there, sure, here, have a horse. You'll never use it, cause I'm gonna shoot you there with a cannon. You want to climb up that mountain? Psych, you can slither it up like a freaking tapeworm. You want to have a world to explore? How about 3? Spirit orbs and Korok seeds, which were pretty much the only tangible reward provided by Breath of the Wild, which was bad, were replaced or rather augmented by various new currencies and crafting materials like zonite charges, and also by scattering a plethora of interesting armor pieces across the world. And all of a sudden, everything you do becomes meaningful and time hardly ever seems wasted. And that is how, everybody, that is how things become fun. Thank you. Not to mention that it is somewhat rewarding and motivating in itself to rediscover what happened to the places we had visited before in Breath of the Wild. Because With all the worries or criticism voiced about Tears of the Kingdom reusing Breath of the Wild's world, many fail to mention how meaningful revisiting this world can be to the returning player. The growth certain characters undergo, like literally, or the disaster that befalls beloved places. All of it shapes Tears of the Kingdom's narrative, and where I wondered in Breath of the Wild whether I should have read up on Zelda lore,
should have gone in knowing more about the Zelda lore.
Here I know I don't have to, because I lived the Zelda lore, and that is also why it's fine to be freely catapulted around the place. We have already explored and befriended Hyrule. Now, with this new gloomy crisis at its doorstep, Tears of the Kingdom is more about mobilizing and rallying its people and resources to fight back. And that, I have to say, is truly satisfying and meaningful in its own way. To surmise, more diverse combat, more rewarding exploration, and a more engaging narrative. Sounds like more of something great, hence a great sequel, right?
It's false.
Because Nintendo looked at the vast sea of social media buffoonery that has become our daily lives and said to themselves,
It's free real estate.
Nintendo knew that just entertaining us as players wasn't enough. They had to turn each and every player into a mean, green, memeing machine. And that is exactly what Tears of the Kingdom achieved, putting the power of gods at the players' fingertips and then challenging them for a dance.
What is happening? Must capture an image of a lifetime.
And I gotta say, you have to have some massive self-esteem, some big kind of energy to pull off something like that. To trust your gameplay loop so unconditionally, I mean, that's just a show of huge competence and a larger-than-life level of proficiency. Penis.